that parent to, yay, a school for squids.
That was really good grounding material. It
Yes,
was
it
just
was very nice. Nobody's
cleanses the
dead. My
palate,
room is
doesn't it?
clean.
The naked mole rat is the
The
best
naked mole rat.
master.
I like
I loved her.
at you Titanic or God bless. What is it?
Yeah, Gazoon
God,
Titanic. Gazoon
Gazoon Titanic is
Titanic.
my favorite. Gazoon Titanic.
Yes. Hooter Tink, What's a Wuzzle, and Gazoon Titanic is what he got off off, off the cuff of his sleeve.
Yeah, I know a few of my questions for the confessionals at the end.
It is now Juan's turn. So, Juan, it is fall of 1995. You are 12 years old. Now, you, as you said, you're learning how to use magic without a wand. To be very honest, were you actually telling the truth that you actually were doing very well with wandless magic? Or were you sort of like,
Well, I'm doing everything I can.
okay,
I'm not at the same level that the other kids, but I'm trying.
yeah. I think it's fair to say, because these kids sort of like were raised in a situation where most of their families don't use wands.
Yeah.
Um, they probably pick up on it a lot faster than you, and I'm going to say that maybe some of them have sort of like treated you a little differently because you're a little bit slower at learning how to use wandless magic.
Yeah.
And we're gonna say that Naila, you and her are hanging out in the lunchroom, like maybe you're having lunch, and she's just like telling you about some of her classes. So Naila, her favorite, her course, definitely the course that she identifies with the most is astronomy.
Yeah.
And she starts talking to you about things, and she but then after talking about astronomy, she says, "How about you, Juan? What sort of subject do you think you're best at? I never really knew."
No, well, my best subject. It's definitely the reason why I'm here. I'm all about transfiguration. That is, I, I love that subject. It's so incredible, and everyone is so good at it here. I mean, I can't compare yet, yet, to our upper students that they can transform into animals, but it's pretty wild what they can do here. In Mexico, we don't get this level of transfiguration.
Yeah, transfiguration is so cool. I'm I'm still working on my ability. But you're right. People around here, they're so passionate about it. It's great to see. I saw somebody transform into a jaguar the other day. Ooh, that was wild.
I bet that was. I saw someone transfigurate into an elephant.
I had heard about that too.
It's
Oh, I don't think that I'd be able to turn into one of those, but it's cool to see other people do it.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I mean, Nyla, you're great at every other subject. I don't know what. And
Oh, you. She says, "Stop it, Juan.
no, no.
You do well yourself. You know, especially you're the one who set the bar for all of us on your first day.
Oh, yeah, you're the one that saved me from falling off a bridge.
It was a team effort.
Yeah, I keep telling you, Cyril, that.
S- Um, so are the kids being a little nicer to you lately?
Well, you know how it is. It's just somewhat awkward that I'm doing so well at every subject, except managing to being able to do my magic without a wand. I'm trying. I'm really trying, But like, I can do simple spells, but the more complex ones, I still need to take my wand out for that, and mm, no one here does that.
Yeah, so about that one, I just wanted to tell you, just as a warning, from one friend to another. Have you heard what people have started calling you lately? They've
Mm,
started calling you Juan the Juanless? Question mark. It's not like Juan the Juanless. It's Juan the Juanless. You
oh,
know, because of the
yeah.
dip at the end, because it's a question. Yeah, yeah. So I don't think that they mean it the way that you might take it as.
I don't know. I'll just say that's a very bad pun, and and I don't know. I'm just trying to ignore all of that and just focus on. I just need to be able to do one less magic, and then my problems will be done. You can maybe teach me. You're very good at it.
I think I might be able to help you out a little bit. What say after lunch we go over to the common room and we'll work on some things.
Thank you. That will be really helpful.
Um, she says, by the way, while I have a question while you're walking to your houses, somebody from the school paper was asking me a question about the houses system, not just in our school, but in other school like at Hogwarts. You know how they sort everybody into different houses.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the reason why they did that was just to give the incentive for competition and to encourage everyone to get the best out of each other. But they were asking questions about whether I thought that it has a negative side effect of labeling each person to like a stereotype, also adding pressure and expectations to people inside of the houses. I wasn't really sure what to think of that. How about you?
Um. Moment. When Nyla starts talking about that, he's just like listening and like, yeah, I heard that. But when she says all about putting stereotypes and making expectations for people inside it, he starts really thinking about it, and he says, "You know what? I haven't really thought about that. It it kind of does, doesn't it? I mean, I love helping people. You know me. If I love helping people, and if they need my help, I'm there for them. But I don't want them to believe that I only do that because I got sorted into Shaksa. You know." And I think there are some people that expect you to help them just because you're in Shaksa, and that it's your responsibility to be able to help them. And the other day I was walking, no, and some kid from the House of the Desert was saying some really mean things about one another of the House of the Swamp, that they don't know, that all they say is lies, and that they never tell the truth. And I don't know. That's a big stereotype about that. You really gotten me thinking about that. I have to ask my uncle. He always knows a good answer for everything.
Your uncle is really cool.
Oh, he is.
He's very handsome too.
I don't know about that. I mean, he's okay, I guess.
Well, of course, it's weird for you to consider one of your relatives beautiful or handsome. I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe.
You reach the area of the Shaksa like common area. So it is pretty like they do keep the houses like separate. Like students from one house aren't allowed in the common areas of others. So basically, you're gonna go into the Shaksa house to your room to get your books, so you guys can work on your wandless magic. So you go into your room, and as you enter into the room, um, you hear the sound of something shattering.
I will like move. I will go to see where that sound came from.
You look to see where the sound came from, and to your shock, the axolotl figure had fallen over, and it actually was hollow. It had fallen over and it shattered onto the ground. and there's like a rat. Somebody's rat had like gotten into your room and must have like bumped it over, and the rat's just like looking around as if looking for food and doesn't seem to notice that it had just toppled over your figure, your axolotl figure.
I'm going to run towards the shards. I'm like, oh god, oh god, oh no, oh no, oh no. And I'm gonna start like taking everything, every shard they have, like getting them into a pile.
Yeah. You are assessing it. Roll me a magic roll, please.
Okay, pure magic. No spellcraft? Just pure magic?
Sure, yes.
Okay, spellcraft.
12? Okay. So the nice thing is, because this thing shattered by mundane means as opposed to magical means, it shouldn't be too hard to fix it with a reparo spell. You don't know the reparo spell, I don't think so, but somebody should be able to cast it to repair this. However, you notice something amidst the pieces, something that you realize must have been inside of this carving. And it is a very curious looking hoop with a very weird engraving on it. It's a really interesting looking hoop.
While I'm putting the pieces of my axolotl into one place, I see the hoop, and I say to myself, "What is that?" Like, I grab it, and like, this was inside. What? And I'm gonna start looking at it, see if I can see if there's anything specific engraved on it, or if
Yeah, you look at the engraving. Roll me a knowledge runes, if you know anything about runes.
I won't. I don't. So I just knowledge, right?
Just regular knowledge.
Okay.
12?
No.
No?
Yeah, 12.
Okay. I'm gonna say that you're looking very like you're looking at the runes on that's etched on this hoop, and you're not quite figuring out what it is.
Okay, so I'm gonna take it and be like, "Hey, Nyla, you know what this is?"
You'll run out. I guess you'll run outside
Yeah.
to where she's waiting for you.
Yeah.
She looks at it. No, I have never seen anything like that before. It looks interesting. Where'd you find it?
It was inside a present that my mom gave to me. It broke. By the way, do you know anyone that knows the reparo spell?
One of her teachers should be able to, who should be able to help us.
Ah, perfect. I'm gonna go get a bag so that I can put all the shards inside to see if a teacher can help me repair it. I'll be right back. He takes the hoop and just like puts it inside one of his pockets.
Okay.
He's like, okay. He runs, grabs the pieces, and puts them into a bag that he has. And he goes
right.
with Nyla.
You will go off. You have the possession. You have the hoop in your possession, in your pocket. I'm gonna skip over to the last person, Jordan. Now, Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go through things very quickly. So, Jordan, this is the last of the origin stories. This is the fall of 1998. You are walking down the hallway in the school. It's probably like later in the evening. People are starting to get to bed, not quite. And you're going to overhear some sort of a scuffle happening down the hallway.
So I follow the scuffle.
You follow the scuffle, and you see two people. One is your brother.
Yep.
Your brother is currently up against the wall being held by a very strong-looking young man. And this is the strong-looking young man. His name is Finn Jokovic. And the interesting thing about Finn Jokovic is, first of all, his eyes are very piercingly blue, like pools of water. And he actually has things down his neck that are very scaly-like. And the reason for this is because he's a quarter merfolk. He's a quarter merman. And he's normally a very quiet person. He's a big guy, and typically his demeanor is more like of a gentle giant. But this time, this is a side of him that you have never seen before. And he has your brother up against the wall right now, and he looks really angry. And you hear him say, "Tell me where he is."
I'm gonna try to sneak up on him, and I want to put my wand to his throat, if I can.
Sure, roll a stealth.
All right.
He's so distracted that he doesn't notice you as you put your wand up to his throat.
I go up and I put it like right there, and I'm sure he'll be able to tell what it is as soon as I put it up to his throat. And I said, "How about you unhand him? Put him down."
He hesitates. He hesitates for a little bit, and he says, "Roxana, you don't want to do this right now," Finn says.
Why? What are you going to do to me? Put him down.
He will pause for a moment, and then he will put Alexander down. Alexander brushes off his robes. He's looking at Finn very sternly. Finn has his wand out. He's not pointing it at Roxana, but he's pointing it towards Alexander.
Lower your wand, turn around, and walk away.
I just want him to answer my question. That's it. And Alexander says, "I don't need to answer anything to you. You're the one who threatened me. I didn't threaten you. I just asked you a simple question." And he says, "I have no idea where my father is."
I think you should leave, Finn.
And Finn is, again, he's like clenching his fists. And he hesitates slightly. And then he starts to lower his wand down. And he's about to put it into his pocket when you hear Alexander say, "Crucio!" And he zaps Finn with Cruciato's curse, and you know what that means.
Oh yeah.
Very illegal. Very, very illegal. And Finn's wand falls down the side of his body, and his eyes go in shock, and he immediately gets down on his knees. And Alexander, like, he doesn't even flinch. He's just holding his wand towards him with the Cruciato's curse, and Finn is like looking at him, and he says, "How do you know that spell?" And Alexander doesn't respond. He just
I'm gonna say stop it right now. Stop.
He said, "Roxana, I didn't want you involved in this. You should leave and pretend you didn't see anything."
I point the wand at him. Stop. Please stop.
He turns to, he says, "Roxana, seriously? Your own
Yes.
flesh and blood?"
Then don't make me do this. Walk away. We can forget about this. Please just walk away. Please.
He looks at you. He shifts his eyes towards you and to Finn. And then he finally stops. And Finn starts gasping for air. He's still like shaking because his body definitely has had like horribly excruciating pain. And Finn very, very quickly like gathers up his wand and he shuffles his way away out of the hallway. And he's going to turn to you and says, he's going to tell the professors immediately.
I'm gonna put my hand on his chest and like to stop him from moving. If that is what he's going to do, let him. No more. You're done here.
It's his word against both of ours. You can just tell the professors that he was the one who attacked us first. That is what you saw. Roxana.
So at this point, I assume Dad's missing, or is he in prison?
Yeah, Dad's missing. They they're not sure where he is, but again, more and more reports have suggested that he has been in cahoots with you know who.
Yeah. What does this accomplish? He was going to put his wand away. You idiot. What were you thinking?
He says something in defense, but then he stops because he didn't really have anything to respond with. He was trying to find out where Father is, and I was not at liberty to tell him.
Maybe you should.
You think I know where he is?
Do you want my actual opinion?
Yes, I do want your actual opinion.
I think you absolutely know where he is. I think you know. And you know why I think that? Do you remember when we were at the Quidditch Cup?
Yes, I do.
You think I'm a fool?
Of course not. You're many things, Roxana, but a fool you are not.
Exactly. When the AMRS came to this school, what did you tell them?
I told them the truth, that I didn't know anything about where my father was, which I didn't at the time.
You know what I told them? Everything. I told them everything. So if I tell them everything about my dad, what makes you think I'm going to vouch for you when he goes and tells those professors? You will own your mistakes.
Roxana, how many times have you acted up in school? How many times have you done all your pranks? And Father, at least when you're younger, came to your rescue and talked to the professors to excuse every single one of them. Why? Because he was loyal to his own flesh and blood. Loyalty.
I didn't fucking curse somebody. I didn't do that. You just did.
Well, maybe some people deserve it.
You disgust me. You really do. You really are his son. And she walks away.
Roxana,
What?
you know what they're going to do to me. They're going to know that I cast that spell.
Of course they're gonna know.
Is this the last thing you want to say to your brother before I go?
I will see you again. You will come home. You really think Mom's gonna throw you out for this? Oh, she'll chew your ear out. So will I. You'll come home. We can talk about this then. She continues to walk away.
You start to walk away, and as you're walking down the hallway, coming towards your direction, you are going to see Finn once again. This time he is accompanied by Boris Hooch and Svetlana Praskovia, both of them. And the two of them will notice you, but they're going to walk right past you. Finn lingers at you, and he's got that look like he's got a deep look of contempt towards you, but he doesn't engage beyond that, and he will follow the two professors down the hallway towards where your brother is.
I keep walking.
That scene will end there. All right. Your origin stories have been told. There is one last thing I need to do before we end today's session.
Let's do it.
Kill another parent?
I'm sorry?
Kill another parent?
It is the fall of 1999, the official beginning of the campaign.
Nice.
You are all in your respected schools from around the world. Throughout the first week of school, the professors seem particularly excited about this school year, more so than normal. You can kind of tell that the professors, they have this secret that they're sort of hiding from their students, like a surprise that they have for the students that they haven't, they're dying to tell you, but they haven't quite had an opportunity to do so. And you will mysteriously be told in your common areas that you all are going to go on a little bit of a trip, and that everyone is going to be prepared because the Flu network is going to be set up so that they can send all of the students to their destination for this field trip. When they mentioned the Flu network, I'm going to say that Albion and the twins are going to be next to each other, and I'm going to say that Nico takes his hand and he kind of puts it firmly onto your shoulder, and he says, "You okay with this, Al?"
I mean, if there's other options, I'm gonna pursue them, but I don't know.
Aw, don't worry, buddy. I'll protect you, he says as he puts his arm around you, very protectively.
And I thought my mom was gonna protect me the last time that accident happened, but
He'll frown a little bit, but he'll give you a smile, and he'll squeeze your shoulder again. And all of the students will start to file. The day comes. There's still a lot of gossip going on, or what the heck is this? Some of the students are really excited. Some of them are like, I don't know about this. This is really interesting. Like, the teachers are definitely hiding something. And you're all lining up to go one by one through the Flu network. All of you will eventually go through, and when you appear, there will be a grand building that you will find yourselves in. And based on all of the other students that will greet you on the other side of the Flu network, they are all dressed in bluish robes with the Gordian knot. And you realize that you're all have arrived in Ilvermorny in the United States of America. And all of the students there, the Ilvermorny students, will greet you and start to usher you all as you go through the Flu network. And they will eventually guide you outside to the grounds of Ilvermorny, to the Quidditch Stadium, because there's a lot of you. We have students from 4 different schools plus Ilvermorny. And they'll start putting people into different sections on the bleachers of the Quidditch area. And I'm gonna say that Chance is sitting on Levi's shoulder, and Chance will say, we're going to go watch Quidditch. Do you think we're going to see some Quidditch there, Levi?"
Chance, you got all these beautiful girls from all over the world here, and you're worried about watching Quidditch?
He says, "Well, I've got a little different priorities than you. What's wrong with that? Quidditch is a pastime, a very traditional wizard pastime. You need to embrace more of your wizard self, your wizard part."
I need to embrace some more of these honeys, if you know what I'm saying.
Nalia is going to be very excited about all of this, and she just like kind of gives a shoulder to Juan, and she says, "Juan, this is Ilvermorny. Doesn't your brother go to Ilvermorny? Both of them, Carlos and Skylar."
Yeah, they do. The moment I heard that we were coming here, I don't know. I just really want to see them.
Do you think they knew that you were coming?
I mean, I don't think so, because Skylar will have totally told me. He can't keep a secret.
Toby is going to be right next to Roxana, and again, Toby is also very excited, and he asks Roxy, "Wow, we're in America. What do you think of this surprise? There's so many people with so many different robes."
It's very exciting, meeting new people from all over the world. Very different to our cold little haven, isn't it, Toby?
everyone will go file in, and as you guys file in, there will be two people in the center. So there's like going to be like a stage in the center of the Quidditch field, and they're going to have whatever the wizard versions of projector screens are, because I know during the Quidditch World Cup they had something so that people could visually see like up close the action on the Quidditch field. So I know that's a thing of some sort. And you will see two people down. The one person who seems to be helping out just in general, getting things set up at the podium, is this man. This man is there at the podium.
Oh boy.
As well as this gentleman who is about to place himself at the podium, which is this one. Several of you might recognize him, and in addition to him, the person who is escorting this older gentleman is this guy, Augustus Mermont.
Great.
Perfect.
The gentleman at the podium holds up his hands and he says, welcome, visitors. Special thanks to all of the professors of Ilvermorny, as well as the other 4 schools, for helping with the translation spell, so that we all can understand each other today at the stadium. And what a special day it is. For those of you who don't know me, I am Headmaster Algebert Fontaine, the headmaster of Ilvermorny. And I welcome all of you from Goldofstorets, Castello Brushu, Wagadu, and Mahokotoro. And several people start cheering.
Yay!
We are very excited to have you. And as you can see, we have representatives of the Ministry of Magic here as well. So thank you very much for all of our visitors. I'm sure that all of you have been wondering what big secret each of your professors have been hiding. And I am happy to announce to you that we are going to be participating throughout the school year in a friendly competition of sorts. Now, I must warn you, he says, I understand very much what happened the last time we had such a competition a few years ago. And trust me, every precaution has been made to make sure that this event is safe and enjoyable for everyone involved. This is not going to be another Triwizard tournament. This is going to be something completely different.
Penta-Wizard tournament.
I will have Mr. Augustus Mermont from the Ministry of Magic explain to you more. Yes. Thank you, Headmaster. Hello, everyone. My name is Augustus Mermont, but you probably care more about this particular event. Well, let me tell you. Because of things that have happened around the world recently, we have realized part of the reason why things could have gone better is because the wizarding world as a whole were disconnected. They were disjointed. The Triwizard Tournament was an attempt to try to form and build these bridges with each other. But we realized that we had failed. So, the different schools and the Ministry of Magic started talking about something else that we could do instead, because while we don't want to revisit the Triwizard Tournament, we still very much agree wholeheartedly with what it was trying to accomplish and what it stood for. So we are going to have a competition that involves the 4 schools, but the 4 schools are not competing against each other. Instead, a representative from each school will form groups, and you will have to work together to succeed in your competition. Out of character, we can all see where this is going.
I wonder what's going to happen.
Aren't there?
I wonder who's going to end up in whose group.
No, but I'm saying there are 5 schools. It's Ilvermorny, Kalbostrovets, Castelbrucho, Mahatokoro, and Wagadu. 5 schools, right?
We're gonna get an Ivan Morning guy.
Yeah.
Skylar.
He will say, I'm going to now turn it back to your headmaster, and he will explain how the teams will be chosen. And it's very exciting, I have to say. Very creative.
Oh, please, God, don't let us have to pick rocks.
A death battle.
It's got to do with the Zodiac, I bet.
The headmaster comes back and he sits and says, so I'm sure many of you are wondering, how about some of the other schools? Hogwarts, of course, Beauxbatons, and all of those. We felt that because we are starting with this, we wanted to start a little small. And since the 3 schools from the Triwizard Tournament had already just recently participated in such a competition, especially since there are still wounds that are healing from those schools during those competitions, we instead thought it would be best to open it up to the other wizarding schools. The 4. The students from Ilvermorny will be assisting, but we will form 3 groups of 4, selected randomly amongst the schools. Randomly. I wonder who's gonna get picked.
Imagine.
Levi still manages to not make a team.
I just want everyone to imagine the Castelbrucho, like, yeah, we're the best students, and then Levi from Castelbruzzo.
He will say, in order to choose the 12 participants that will form these 3 groups, we have come up with a method, I suppose, sorting method of sorts. And he will point down to the ground, and in front of him, a big, large, circular wheel appears on the ground with the zodiac symbols. All of the zodiac symbols appear.
A circle of fate.
So there's the spinning wheel of the zodiac, and he says, we will have a special randomly selected spell, random generated spell, that will select a student from each school based on their zodiac symbol. Starting with Aries.
How much time has passed since the Quidditch game?
Like 4 years, I think.
Would I still remember Roxana?
I'm sure you would.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, we spent a very traumatic experience together. I think we would remember.
You can't forget Roxana, really.
Yeah, no. It's great.
Roxana, not Jordan. So
I'm gonna think it's gonna be so funny when Levi doesn't get picked,
Oh.
and then like something happens to the real person, they drop down and have to redo it.
I
and
guess
it's
we'll
like,
take Levi.
no, I'm the second pick, like an accident. The guy falls down the stairs, like trying to get there. Oh, guess we gotta pick somebody else.
No. Chance is eating something. He bites himself. Ow! He opens a wound. A little bit of his blood splatters you. And Levi!
The headmasters from the 4 other schools come together to cast this specific randomly selecting spell. So one of the professors waves their wand and aims towards the Aries symbol on this spinning wheel. And everyone starts looking around to see what'll happen, what's going to happen. And then suddenly, Roxana, you feel yourself start to levitate up into the air. You start to rise from the air, and materializing underneath you is this large glowing ram. A large glowing ram. And it begins to fly across the sky with you riding on its back. And everyone from Koldovstered starts cheering, Roxy! Roxana! I knew she would be the first one picked! Roxana!
If I get a moment, I like try and find Toby with my eyes
Yeah.
as soon as I levitate and just do like a yeah.
Toby's like, yes! Yeah, Roxana, yay! And Roxana will then make her way towards the center of the Quidditch field and land right on the Aries spot as the ram bows its head in front of you as when it drops you off, and then it disappears.
She does like a Miguel and Tulio like.
The crowd goes crazy, and then you can see from the projector screen Roxana very clearly. Juan, do you react at all?
When I see her, I go like, no fucking way.
I probably do like a Metamorphomagus thing where I like, I don't know, like morph
Yes.
my face into like a pig's face or something and like make a face at the camera.
Okay,
I'm
when
like-
you do that, all the other schools are saying, "Oh, she's cool. I like her." Yeah.
Of
And like-
course they are.
I'm like, Nyla, you remember what I told you? That I was in the Quidditch game. She's Roxana. She's the girl that helped me.
That's her?
Yeah.
Wow, what a small world.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Nico bumps a shoulder against Albion, and he says, Roxana, she's cool. I like her.
Yeah, but that nose though.
Oh my god.
Albicun, looks aren't everything, Asa says. It's all about the attitude, and I think she's cool looking.
She seems fun.
Taurus is next. Another individual appears to be rising up from the sky. It's a quiet gentleman from Wagadu that has not appeared yet in this story. This is the gentleman. And he will rise up as the bull appears underneath him, and he will sail towards the center of the Quidditch field as one of the professors calls out his name, Aika Ayumidi.
Juan is like, yeah, go, Wagadu, Wagadu. And with Nyla like, you're next. I'm sure you'll go.
I know Aika. She says, oh, Aika, he's from House Ngaziwa.
I bet he will represent us well then.
They will move on to the next sign, which is the Gemini sign. And suddenly, Juan, you will start rising up into the air. Oh, Juan! Juan! Naila
well-
says.
well, I mean-
Yes! Yes! And everyone's going, Juan the Wandless? Juan the Wandless? All of the crowd is saying on your
And I'm gonna
side.
be like, woo! Yeah!
These two twin figures are lifting Juan up, like on their shoulders, as they float towards the ground, relatively close to Roxana,
I'm gonna wink at him.
and you will land as the two bow before you as it disappears.
She just winks and probably gives a bit of a salute.
He will like do a little bow like, oh yeah.
And she laughs at that. She likes that.
Next, Cancer. And everyone is again looking around to see who will be rising up from their seats as well. And to Roxana's surprise, Toby. Toby rises up from on the back of a large crab, and he looks like shocked. He's like, me? Seriously? Me? I'm one of the chosen people for this competition?
Roxy goes wild. She tries to hype the crowd up, like doing that, like, yeah.
I'm gonna help her. I'm gonna like, ha, ha, woo! I don't know who he is.
Half of Coldostres are confused. They're like, Toby, really? But the other half are like, Roxy's friend. Roxy's friend. Yeah, Roxy's friend. Roxy's friend. Toby looks completely like beside himself. Is like, there must be a mistake. What? What? No. There must be everybody's looking at me. I don't want anybody looking at me. So he looks very like shocked, like deer in the headlights. I don't know if I want this. I don't know if I want this. But it doesn't look like he has a choice because now he gets laid down. The crab bows before Roxana, and Toby like looks at Roxanne and he's like,
I got your back, Drag. She says, I got your back, Drag.
And then the next sign is Leo.
Ooh.
And with that, you can hear like a pat coming from Chance. He's giving you a pat, and he says, "Levi, aren't you a Leo?" He says.
Oh yeah, like I'm totally a Leo, but I mean, it's obviously gonna pick me. It's obviously picking like the best people from all the schools. So I think I got a good shot here. But inside, he's like, "Please don't pick me. Please don't pick me. Please don't pick me."
When you feel Chance patting your back, you can hear a little bit of a twinkling from his fingers, a little bit. And after the twinkling happens, you start to rise from your seat, Levi.
Oh god, it picked me. Oh my god, it picked me. Oh no, it meant my friend. It didn't mean me. It meant my friend here on my shoulder.
No, not me. It's totally you. And then he jumps off. He hops off of your shoulder. Chance hops off of your shoulder as you rise up into the air.
All right. He's gonna like take a big gulp and just start waving like, yeah, I'm the best. He's like blowing kisses to the girls.
And several of the group from Castello Brucio are like, "Lost Levi? Lost Levi? What?"
I guess I was found now.
The boy who was found. He goes over and glides through on the back of a great lion. And the lion soars through the sky, lands right down, bows before you before disappearing and joining the rest of your group.
Hey guys, did you guys like see that line? It was like totally cool. He'll look over at Roxanne and be like, "What's up?"
Oh, nothing much. And she looks away.
Well.
Virgo is next. And the person that rises from there is from Mahokotoro. And that person is
Oh, is it
this
is
character.
It the... It's her.
Hey.
Chessa Jing. Chessa Jing rises up.
That total bitch.
Yes, she is being rised up on the palms of a feminine-looking figure, a beautiful feminine-looking figure, as she soars through, her golden robes glistening. Many of the people, especially boys, are oohing and eyeing at the beautiful grace that she has, and she's very humble about it, but she also is carrying herself with like deep like respect and pride, and many of the people from Makohotoro are cheering. And Asa says, "Oh, of course they would choose Chessa. Of course they would choose her. Oh, I'm so nervous. Whatever happens, we're gonna support each other if one of us gets picked, right?"
Of course, you've got the best chance out of all of us.
She says, "Thank you, Al. Thank you." Next is Libra, and from Castello Brucio, this person rises up into the air. It's a darker-skinned, serious-looking girl. Levi, you know this girl to be Tritessa Mukamutara. Tritessa Mukamutara, she is someone who actually is a bit of a magizoologist whiz. And she's actually a very relatively well-known at the school for getting high marks and things like that.
I just picture everybody in the crowd like, "Not Levi, not Levi."
Yeah, actually, yes. Several people in the crowd are saying, "Not Levi, not Levi," as they drop her off as well. She will nod respectfully to Chessa, and Chessa will nod to her as well. A little bit of girl power there. And then next is Scorpio. And Albion starts to feel himself rise up, and At that point, I'm gonna say Nico says, "Oh yeah, that's my boy, Al. Yeah, you get him, Al. Go get him." Al, you are riding on the back of a scorpion. What is your general expression? I'm curious, Albion.
Probably a little shock. How close are they gonna be to his father?
Pretty darn close, because he's like on the stage, and your father is. Yes, that's my son! That's my son!
He's probably just shaking his head a little bit and assuming that it wasn't by chance that he got up there. He probably assumes his dad had something to do with it.
Oh, really? Do you think his dad would have done something? Really?
You have no bad thoughts about him.
You will take your spot in the placement of the big giant circle. And then next up is going to be Sagittarius. And suddenly you'll hear a scream, "Woo! That's right! They picked me!" As Naila rises up. She goes, "Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!" And she
I'm
said,
gonna be
"Come
like,
on. Don't think that I'm gonna be going easy on you. You're going down, Della De Vera. You are going down."
I'm gonna be like,
says.
woo!
Yeah. She's super excited when she lands down off at the back of the Sagittarius. Is what animal, Sagittarius?
It's the archer.
Oh, it looks like a centaur. It looks like a centaur. She gets set down, and she actually lands on her feet, but then she, instead of staying put, she kind of like runs to everybody else and she gives them a double high five. Oh yeah, we got it. She high fives you. She goes to Roxana, and actually when she goes to Roxana, she actually like clasps hands with you and lingers with a bit, and she says, "I love your nose." She says, and then she goes to the next person. Yeah, she's like getting the crowd reveled up, and even Augustus Murmont, normally he would be like, "This is not appropriate," like she's hamming it up too much, but even your dad can't help but like smirk a little and smile at this because she's just so full of energy.
I'm gonna go with her and like shock her and said, "I told you that you were going to make it."
I was gonna say though, before when she claps Levi's hands, he's gonna be like, "Hey, I like your nose too."
She says, "Oh, you're sweet." She says, "We'll talk later."
What?
Oh no.
Oh. Yes.
Oh yeah, so I go with Nyla and I like call her and said, "I knew you would get in." Like, but I have to tell you something. You're the one that's going down. I mean, you always best me in every subject, not in this one, girl.
Well, she says, we will see.
Mm-hmm.
And they start to announce the next one, Capricorn. Nico Takahashi rises up from his seat on the back of a giant goat. And Nico, again, he sort of like lifts his arms up. Everyone in Makohotora are screaming and yelling. And all the guys are going, yeah! All the girls are going, yeah! Because Nico has a lot of fans. And he's sitting down, he's like, "Oh, Al, you better hope that they don't have a Quidditch event. You hope they better not have a Quidditch event."
I would look at him and probably say, "Well, at least it's nice to see a friendly face down here."
He smiles at you as the crowd continues to go crazy as they announce the last two contestants. So the next one is Aquarius, and of course, because it's Aquarius, Finn.
Sorry, that's my star sign. This is like fate.
Yes. Finn Djokovic, the quarter merman, rises up from his seat in a wave, a ghostly wave, and will start to sail towards the center, and a lot of people from Koldovserez, a lot of people do like Finn a lot, and they will also be cheering his name. But you're gonna hear Roxy, Roxy, Finn, Roxy, and a few people are like, Roxy's friend, like a little bit of Roxy's friend, but clearly drowned out by Roxy and Finn. Although there are slightly more people chanting Roxy's name than Finn's name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Last but not least, they go to Pisces, and everyone's looking around. Nobody seems to see anything. Who's rising up? Nobody's rising up. And then they see these two fish rising up from somewhere, and people are looking and they're like, I don't see anyone on those fish's backs.
Levi screaming, yes!
The screen sort of like shows a little bit closer, and you can see a tiny green speck as Chance Gallagher is riding on this fish, and he says, "Well, I guess a little bit of luck came my way as well." Woo! And several of the people are like saying, "Take a chance! Take a chance! Take a chance!"
Take a chance.
Take a chance.
I
So people who haven't met Chance will probably be very surprised when they see this short 6-inch figure come down next to you and says, "Yes, that's right. Now we can actually begin the competition with me here. Yes."
Yeah.
Roxana laughs. She's like, I like this man. I like his style.
One is going to be talking to Nyla like, "Well, you see that? That little man is going to..." I mean, I heard they have great luck.
Hey, that's racist, pal.
Everyone will be applauding. I'm gonna say that Chogan will be looking right at Levi in the eye. Your eyes will probably meet at some point, and he will be applauding. Because I think he recognizes you from the Ministry of Magic. And
Yeah.
yes, and the Ilvermorny headmaster will say, "Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to congratulate the champions of our competition of the Zodiac Games. Next up, we will be sorting these 12 people into their teams." And I will end the session there.
No. Good job, Bart. That was great.